All right, moving on to our front brakes. Let's see how bad things are in here. That's right, this sweetheart had drums front and rear. Disc brakes, no. Not on a mid-2000s Honda work machine. Now, a couple years after this, they got disc brakes on the front. I think some of them might even have disc brakes on the rear. And work it did. Whew, now that is one seriously loose ball joint. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute. Tell you what, let's see if we can get our drum off first, and then we'll pull the hub off. Yeah. So it looks kind of like the back. I think it'd be a good idea to put shoes up here too. We could fix this thing till the guy couldn't afford us to fix it anymore. That's what's headed our way, all right. All right, let me show you this awesome ball joint. Are you ready for this? Right there. I've got a ball joint press somewhere. I just don't know where it is for sure. Which is not an unusual situation I find myself in. Oh, little wretched wasn't very fond of that. Let's see if the old impactor reader likes it any better. If I'd keep it on there, it does. Yeah. Wouldn't be right if at least one didn't go to the floor. Say, that was almost impossible to get to start back on. Now I'm gonna give this a whack down here and see if I can drop this one out or if that joint's gonna come apart. Oh, it's loose. Hot dog. Our knuckle is ready to come off. There we go. Alrighty, we're gonna work on our ball joint here. First thing I'm gonna do is take a punch and kind of knock this snap ring loose. And it just vibrated a little bit. So it's not stuck in the groove. I'm not sure that these snap ring pliers are gonna do the trick. Nope, they're bottomed out. Let's see what else I have. I can't believe that hardly worked, but it did. Those go the wrong way and everything. And we'll work a snap ring. I'll keep my finger in here so this thing doesn't fly off across the shop. Now is when it's going to fly across the shop. Try to keep it under control. There we go. It's under control. Now we need to get this pushed out of here. There is no really good way to do this because this stuff up here is directly in line with this. So I thought I'd give it a whack or two and see if it moved. If it didn't move, then we'll have to resort to a better way. By gosh, I think it did. Might have stopped too. I like it when stuff works. It's just so much nicer than when it doesn't. There's our ball joint. we got some new ones. These babies come with the ball joint itself, new snap ring, nut, and a cotter pin. So let's see if we can install this thing. Try to get a hold of this a little bit differently. Seems like we ought to do just a little bit of cleaning up here. The surface isn't rusty underneath the ball joint, so I'm not too worried about it. Just seems like it'd be a nice thing to do. Goes in there like that. I want to try to find me something that sits on this lip right here, but doesn't catch the rubber. That's going to be really important. So, I'll be back. All right, I found a socket about the right size. It'll sit in here and it misses the rubber, but catches on that groove. So, we're going to give this thing a thump the other way and see if it'll just slide right on back in. First time this socket's been used. Now, let's see our snapper and groove on the other side. Yeah, pretty good. I'm gonna give it another whack or two. Just to see it on in. Well, that was exciting. Darn near got my toe. I think we can get the snap ring in the groove, so let's give that a shot. Yeah, we ought to be able to. We'll try the crappy snap ring pliers again, just to see how crappy they really are. Really, all we need to do is get it started over the edge, and we can tap it on into place. It looks like we're going to have to do some tapping anyway. Just to get it down over the edge. All right, we got one side started, but not the other side. So we can just shove that way. Ah, ha, ha. Now we'll give that a few taps around it with our screwdriver slash pry bar slash punch or chisel. Yep, I think that's in. Boom, there's our lower ball joint. See our boot kind of come off? We want to make sure we put that back into place. Like that. This is totally non-greasable, but I'm pretty sure it's going to last the life of this machine. For sure. That's where it hit the floor. Hopefully it didn't screw up a thread. Oh no, it'll work just good. Alrighty, should be ready to go. Yep, looks like it. Slide our axle in there. Grab our lower ball joint. Push this in and catch our upper ball joint. Like that. And then we'll start our nuts on. All we gotta do is get the tie rod attached so we can steer this machine. Because this machine will need some steerage. Yep, it's this one. Now, if you're doing this at home or doing it yourself, make sure you replace this nut with a new one every time you take it off. Because that is what Honda tells you to do. And who would know better than Honda how to work on a Honda? It's kind of like people that run different oil and stuff in them. Like, why? Oh, good. Our new nut is not the same size as the old nut. And I pretty much hate it when stuff doesn't line up like that. Can we put a snap ring or a... No, not yet. Almost. Not sure why that won't go in yet. There's only half a hole showing, that's why. Oh yeah. Looky there. All right, now that we got that torque to proper spec, we will fix our cotter pin, split pin. I want to call them a cotter pin. That's all there is to that. That looks pretty good. Let me find a cotter pin to poke in that hole. Now, I don't always buy cotter pins, but when I do, I buy long ones, because I can always cut them off. See if the next size up will fit in that hole. I can always cut them off, but I can't add to them. Oh yeah, that's pretty stinking good right there. All right, I need to bend his ends around. Which one is on top? We get a screwdriver in there and get it past our boot here without knocking a hole in it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that'll do on that one. Yep. Top turns, figured it would. I'm sure looking pretty awkward here, but I'm giving you the best view, and I'm taking the back seat here. Make sure your wrench isn't caught in there. And then go ahead and crank it down. There, that is torque to factory spec, or just a touch more. All right, that is back in place. Now we'll go ahead and set our brake drum on. Alrighty, put our brake backing plate back on. Don't forget to put Loctite on these. Seems like a really good place for Loctite, since it's brakes and all. Yeah, since I don't really trust that a whole heck of a lot, we're going to get a ratchet after it as well, or maybe even a short breaker bar, just to verify these are tight and torque to factory spec. All right, we just knocked our ball joint out. Apparently I was not recording. And this is the one we took out. This is the other side that we did. Obviously already done one side, but this thing, she's, you might say she's had the meat. She is done. Let's give that just a little bit of a wipe off here. Then we'll start this baby in there and see if we can drive it home. Using our same socket we did the other side. Yeah, she's about there. I think she's in. Go ahead and get our snap ring seated in here. Oopsie, she turned. All right, that side's down. Let's see if we can get this other side, not get too much in your view. We're probably going to get a lot in your view. All right, it's in, but she's not seated. See it take up the slack there? I always like to tap on them a couple of times. She's seated. That's another ball joint right there. She's installed.